Okay, so we're going to start with our newspapers. We'll bring in the English front pages and the back pages in a couple of minutes' time. As you would expect, the English back page. I mean, part of it's fine, right? Part of it's absolutely fine, but then somebody always has to go too far, and it's always the Sun. So let's bring you through the Irish newspapers first this morning. I'm going to start with the Irish Independent. Hurling fixture chaos threat. This is a bit of speculation here from the Irish Indo this morning. If the Leinster final replay ends in a draw after extra time and after the extra period of extra time, then there'll be fixture chaos. Which is like, I mean, fair enough.
It would take two 10-minute periods and then two 5-minute periods for this story to manifest itself.
Yeah.
It does kind of remind us, though, of the fact that fixture chaos could be avoided by actual definition of closing out fixtures on the day.
Yeah.
Or particularly on day 2 at the very least.
Yeah. Well, on day 1, right?
Day 1 would be better.
But I don't think there should be a replay.
But I can see why people would say the free-taking competition isn't the way to decide a Leinster title.
Why not? Leinster title nowhere near as important now as like what's coming next.
It would. I would say that it is quite important. I would say the two hurling provinces are very important at the moment.
And so you happen to win it on freeze. You lost it on freeze.
It will be drama for all of us, and
then there'd be no fixture chaos.
I would enjoy it, and there would be no fixture chaos. It's true, but there would be no fixture chaos as well if they got it sorted after the second day out. And after the second day, it should be enough is enough. We can't have a third meeting of these teams. We just have to end it after day 2. It's the only sport where this happens.
A fourth meeting of these teams, obviously, because they've already played in the...
Well, you know what I mean.
But actually, I think it's a serious thing. It's like, okay, play again. We've got to play again. So it's a trilogy now already before you actually get out of Leinster.
And what's the times 4 version of a trilogy?
Quadrilogy.
It could potentially come on down the line as well, and you've got the league meeting and all that sort of stuff. It's just familiarity after familiarity, and just the same two teams going at it again and again and again is what the new hurling format has kind of thrown up. But it's great. I mean, like I'd rather watch Kilkenny play Galway 10 times a season than watch Kilkenny trounce, I don't know, Carlow once a season, you know? Although that's probably going to happen next year after what happened in the Joe McDonagh Cup at the weekend. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The Examiner next. Picture of Frank Murphy at the top of the front page of the Examiner, because the process of replacing Frank Murphy in Cork GAA after 40-something years is underway, which is a remarkable achievement for any individual. And then back from the brink, obviously, Chadley breaks Japan hearts as Belgium complete sensational comeback to set up Brazil showdown. The bottom stories there. Player power doesn't have to be a blight on the GAA. It's Mike Quirke's column today. Big decisions loom for divided Spain after the World Cup exit, and Donegal's World Cup Ballyliffin basks in golf's global limelight for the Irish Open. The golf and the weather in Ballyliffin. So many Irish Opens have been just shit because the weather's been awful, and all of a sudden Donegal is going to be this beautiful shimmering countryside. It's going to look like it's from, California or something.
Yeah,
Amazing.
It's like the first time ever, I would imagine, that the Irish Open has been posed with the problem: will the greens actually look green, or will they be brown? I would never be able to recall a situation where the Irish Open has ever been posed with that problem.
Sometimes there'd be footage of an Irish Open in in Royal Dublin, I think it was, when John O'Leary won. That's
black and white pictures.
Well, it's like it's such good weather. It's burnt brown, and but it could have. It's the 70s, I think.
That's just crappy TV footage where everything looked brown in those days, sure. Everything. The weather looks so much better. That was just a sepia tint on the footage.
Interesting piece about Mike Quirke about how the Mayo footballers actually use player power themselves to become a unified force, and because they were a unified force, they were really good over the years, and that only a team who were as brave as Mayo were to get rid of Holmes and Kennelly could actually have been as brilliant as they were on the field of play as often as they were. And he's saying that Kildare needed or channel that a little bit at the weekend, and that rather than fearing player power, the team should actually be actively trying to convince players to seize power and be a unified force. But obviously,
well, what was your reaction? Like you weren't in yesterday. You didn't have a chance to gloat and to stare down the barrel of the lens and say,
"I know." There's no gloating until I am in the same room as Nathan Murphy. There'll be no gloating.
We should do like a Kildare versus Mayo podcast. You and Joe versus Nathan and Kevin, and just a constant stream of verbal abuse directed at Nathan and Kevin. and they don't say a word and they just leave afterwards and that's it.
We can actually do that without them. We just have cardboard cutouts of them.
It would work just as well. Did you feel any sort of kind of a wry sense of told you so after the weekend?
I know. Honestly, like, even with all the stuff in the build-up, it was hard to see a way that Kildare were going to play the way that they did after that pressure, because they haven't put a performance in it. Like, I literally think that the last time they played that well was when they won the Leinster title in the start of the last millennium, the start of this millennium, and it was amazing. It was like the best they've ever played in 2 decades. From the league campaign, it didn't really look like they were going to be able to do that. So. And
was your tweet after the match just kind of here's a consolation prize for Mayo sort of thing? Was it just sort of rush of blood to the head?
No.
Here's your tweet. The Mayo footballers are still the greatest story in Irish sport this decade. They deserve more than they've got, but they've earned respect from everyone.
Yeah, I stand over every part of that. They deserve more than they got. You don't always get what you deserve in life. You get what you negotiate. And give me a better, more compelling story than the story of the Mayo footballers of the last 6-7 years.
To be honest with you, I kind of said that kind of mocking you, but I actually kind of agree with you to a certain extent. It has been, it's been an amazing story. And like I always said, that the best stories don't have a happy ending. They don't have this sort of...
No good stories have a happy ending.
That's what I'm saying.
Fairy stories have a happy ending.
That's what I'm saying. It's like there's no Hollywood script here. This is real. This is authentic. This is, as Jim McGuinness is saying in the Irish Times today, the Buffalo Bills of our generation.
Well, so he's talking about the Four Falls Buffalo, that documentary series. From the 30 for 30, where they go through each of the 4 seasons that the Bills end up reaching the Super Bowl, and they lose all of them. The first one that they lose is the closest. They've got a kick to win it, and the kicker, I don't know if you've seen this, have you? The Four Falls Buffalo, it's brilliant. So the kicker's literally still crying about when that comes up, and they go back and show you the footage of him addressing the icy crowd that have shown up to celebrate the team, thinking, oh, this is okay, we're going to get over the line next year. And he's like, yeah, we'll definitely get back next year. It never does. Never happens. It never happens. But like, that is definitely one of the better 30 for 30s. Like, the stories where documentaries are made about winning teams, they're grand. You know, sometimes they're quite good. Some of the America's games are really good, but like, they're just really history lessons. Then this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. Oh, we had a bit of a setback here, but we recovered because we're a good team, and we went on to, the rugby team are a better story. Conquerors of New Zealand was the one that somebody tweeted, was like, yeah, great, they beat New Zealand, and like, the Irish rugby team are a brilliant story, and the Dublin footballers are a brilliant story, and the Kilkenny hurlers in this decade are an interesting story, although I would argue the previous decade was actually them at their peak and when they had all their best players, and we're starting to learn that they were a great story as well. But none of them have everything that Mayo has, which is that loss, and that the odds are stacked against them because of what happens in the county, the fact that so many people, so many towns absolutely destroyed by emigration, the fact that half the team lives in Dublin and they get a bus back and forth across the summer, like getting to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning and then getting up for work the next day at 7 o'clock, and they get within a point, a replay, a point, and it's only ever the All-Ireland champions who beat them. It is an unbelievable story, and they keep coming back.
No, it is, and like, I'm actually thankful that Jim brought up the Bills reference there, because I wonder, will that be how we view Mayo in 10, 20 years? This Mayo team, if they don't return a win in All-Ireland, will we view them as kind of the whipping boys? Because that's how I would view that Bills team. I mean, when we were talking about the Bills earlier this year, it's like, oh, the Bills are back. Remember how bad they were in the 90s, when in actual fact, they were amazing. They won 4 AFC championships in a row. This Mayo team is amazing. And maybe because of the fact that they didn't win All Irelands, and this sense of unluckiness will become a sense of they were a bad team, might fester over time. I hope that's not the case, because that's not the truth.
Yeah, well, the Bills got hammered in 3 Super Bowls, I think. And those massive defeats are things ultimately that you remember, as opposed to that one where all he has to do is kick it's like, all you have to do is kick that free.
Well, it was 47 metres out.
Yeah, makeable. Pretty makeable. Would have made it. Should have made it.
Yeah, like, I was wondering, was Jim McGuinness actually going to mention Cillian O'Connor there at that point, and thankfully he doesn't twist the knife to that extent. But it's it's cathartic reading for any Mayo fan this morning, for sure, McGuinness's column.
Yeah, and a bunch of people have been saying fairly similar stuff over the last couple of days, so I was amazed at how angry the Dublin fans got. like absolutely livid with that tweet.
Yeah, like there was no suggestion that they're a better team. The suggestion was that they're a better story, which I think unquestionably they are. There's no question that they're a better story than... Like, there is definitely more 30 for 30 potential in Mayo than there is in Dublin. No question about that.
I was thinking about it. If you were to do it, it would take 3.5, 4 hours to do justice to it. If you were to do the Dub story, it would be Dublin, loads of great resources and great footballers. Pat Gilroy comes in, fixes their defence, leaves. Jim Gavin fixes their attack. Here's a few interviews. A minor falling out with their star player. They survive by bringing in like the best young footballer in the country, and away we go.
It would need to be major on the intellectual insights we get, as in Jim Gavin would need to spill his heart out, Bernard Dunn would need to reveal everything, Brian Cullen would need to reveal everything, all their statsmen, Mark Ingle on the basketball side of things. It would need to be a very slick operation of a documentary. It would need to be an intellectual piece of work, basically. It wouldn't be an emotional piece of work that the Mayo one is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it'd be like a long novel written with 800 pages, perfectly crafted sentences, and at the end of it you go, oh, okay, yeah, I feel like I understand that thing a bit more. Whereas the Mayo one, you'd be bleeding after it going, Jesus Christ, why couldn't I just get it done?
Yeah, like you could get David Fincher to direct the Dublin one and he'd make a pretty good job of it. Whereas with the Mayo one, he could give it to me and the camcorder and I'd do a pretty good job of it, you know.
Adrian Bain says, hold on a second, Scott Norwood was given an extended ovation in Buffalo at the homecoming, and Toy Story 3 has a happy ending. You can't argue with that logic. Toy Story 3, the ending. Woody gets reunited. Oh, he gets onto another child, right? He just gets handed down. But like ultimately, that's not a good... like that kid is going to reject Woody the same way Andy did at some point, right? That's how it goes. Kids reject toys, they move on. Sean McCready. We'll leave the football ones for now. Thomas O'Connell says, I was really looking forward to Ger's outpouring of emotion on the show this morning. Damn it, anyway. Did he make it onto the pitch after the game? Not since 2000 in Croke Park have I seen joy like it. Yeah, 2000. That was my memory of that. No, I didn't make it onto the field. I didn't get a ticket for the game. Adrian Bain says, oh, I'd already done that one. Sorry about that. Yeah. And I don't know. I feel really sorry for the Mayo footballers. They don't want your sympathy. They don't care about it. But I also don't think that they're completely finished.
No, neither do I. I think that we would not be having this conversation had Mayo got knocked out later in the championship, which would have happened anyway. They would not have made an All-Ireland final even if they'd got past Kildare. They would have got knocked out at some point because of the two ginormous injuries they suffered in midfield, which, as Anthony Moyles put it on yesterday's show, resulted in a situation where you were robbing Peter to pay Paul. You were taking Diarmuid O'Connor out of a different line of the pitch, and despite how unbelievably good he was on Saturday, and it is now his new position.
Yeah, so there you go. I'm not sure about...
Like, it still is just a thinning of your talent across the starting 15 and across the bench players that are coming on. So,
can Kildare do it again? Can they beat Fermanagh playing like that?
Of course they can. Of course they can beat Fermanagh.
Can they just do it again? Can they beat Kerry down in Killarney?
Well, that would be something for Cian O'Neill. They're beaming from ear to ear if he went down to Kerry and beat them.
Think of the knives that will be out for Cian O'Neill if Kildare make it through.
He'll pick up the phone and is like, why yes, Sunday again, producer, I will sit in the same studio as Tomás O'Shea to talk about my team's 213 to 112 win against Kerry this afternoon in Killarney.
Okay, so next, Times Ireland. What have we got here for you? We have the Cork are still hungry after Munster title. This is Fraggy Murphy, who is speaking with Gary Doyle, and who a little bit later on is going to be speaking with us right here on Off the Ball AM, saying that they're still hungry after the Munster title. And of course, I think they might actually now be the new favourites after that quality of performance. Like, their forwards turned it on and their defence got tight. And suddenly it's like, ooh, and they have confidence. Now, the 4-week break is going to be really interesting to see how they handle that and what way they manage to make sure that they're still as sharp as they were in that game. But and then Killian Buckley is saying that they don't bother with critics on the back of that. So that's little Kenny Hurlers, who also, like a zombie, not dead, and feel empowered by the fact that they're not dead. Wexford drills down to avert water crisis. Wexford Racetrack taking the unusual precautions of drilling their own well to make sure that there's water this weekend. Or maybe not that unusual, in fairness.
On the back page of the Herald this morning, it's James fitness boost. Colombian ace winning battle to face off against Southgate's men. And you've got jubilant pictures there of Nasser Chadli celebrating with Romelu Lukaku after their win last night. It was 3-2 for Belgium. It was an absolutely unbelievable result against Japan. Poor Japan, losing in such dramatic circumstances. I still blame Honda and his teammates to a certain extent. The back page of the Irish Daily Mail goes with this as well. A great escape. Martinez hails Belgians, but it's cruel on Japan. And Kildare given green light to host Tribesmen, which is Mick Clifford's piece here, that Kildare, if they book a place in the Super 8s with a win against Fermanagh this weekend, they will be allowed to play Galway in St Conleth's Park on the bank holiday weekend. No, the weekend, 2 weekends before that, the 21st, 22nd of July. On the back page of the Sun this morning, this is the Irish Sun. Boss wants the goods, keep calm and harry on. And GEA to burst Buble. This is the John Horan story from yesterday, which we brought you up to speed on OTBAM yesterday. It's he's saying that he wants Croke Park to be kept exclusively for GEA events during July and August. So no more Michael Bublé, no more Navy against Notre Dame, no more nothing except for Gaelic games and the GEA in Croke Park in July and August. If John Horan gets his way, that'll be an interesting one to see if that one goes to Congress. On the back page of the Irish Daily Star, it's pathetic. O'Neill slams Neymar in the wake of, like, it's hard to put it better than that. It was pathetic. It was embarrassing after, like, another excellent performance from Neymar growing into the tournament. As you said, the reaction to Miguel Leon's admitted stamp on his ankle yesterday was nothing short of pathetic. That's exactly how I would sum it up as well.
How would, if someone stamped on your ankle, how would you?
Well, I wouldn't roll for a little while, and I wouldn't, like, negotiate my way around one of the sideline people, aka a coach, to go and roll a little bit more.
You probably would.
I probably wouldn't.
Should we try this out?
Yes, I would probably be static in a sense of pain. That's how people react to pain.
I mean, yeah, sometimes. I'm not defending it.
Maybe he's got a very low threshold for pain. Maybe he just feels very brief periods of excruciating agony, and that's just the way he's made up. It's just a genetic freak, kind of like Chris Froome. Yeah, he's just a genetic freak, but he's just a genetic freak when it comes to pain.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about Chris Froome yet. We will a little bit later on the show.
Nay shame, says the back of the Mirror. Angry Mexico boss slams Brazilian aces theatrics, and winning you get a super home tie, says GA President John Horan. That's a promise to Kildare that they will be able to play in St Conleth's again if they make it to the Super 8s. Let's have a look at some of the UK papers. This is the front page of the Sun. They've gone too far, ladies and gentlemen. They've gone way too far. This is, as Three Lions face nation that gave world Shakira, great coffee and other stuff. We say, go Kane. What can you even say about that?
The Sun, I don't know. It's grim.
Do English people wake up this morning and think to themselves, yeah, 1966 all over again, after reading that headline? Do they think, let's emulate the Charltons, let's emulate the greats here, and let's go forth and conquer? Is that what they think after they read a headline like that?
Or I want a man of cocaine. Is that what they want?
Maybe they do. Maybe the Sun know the English people better than we do.
Yeah, it's like, because the drug trade has really been good for Colombia, and it's great that you can, go, you've got drug trade, which completely ruined your country and put you in the grip of horrible criminals for decades and decades and decades.
Let's have a look at the back page of the Daily Mail in the UK this morning. Penalties. We've got the bottle. So are they saying that it's going to be Trippier, Henderson, Lingard and Young and Kane?
Yeah, Ashley Young obviously missed one in 2012 in the Euros against Italy.
Yeah, it's in case it's hide behind your sofa time tonight. If it goes to penalties, it's hard not for... I was listening to the Sunday paper review on Sunday, and they were talking about a piece, I'm not sure was it in the Sunday Times, where Gareth Southgate showed his players all these instances of previous failures by England at the World Cup, which is fine and well. I can see what he's trying to do. It's like, you can never be that bad. Like, we've had it bad, you will have to do something special to be as rubbish as these guys. But if you are stepping up to take a penalty, like you've been reminded of this fact, you're like, I'm not supposed to put this ball in the back of the net. There is an inferiority complex created by that immediately. Let's have a look at the front page of the Mirror this morning, the UK Mirror that is. Now write your own history, boys. Southgate's rallying cry. The back page of the Mirror then. It's time to deliver. Southgate tells his Lions that talk is cheap. Now they must end 12 years of knockout pain. We'll move on to the back page of the Daily Express. Let's party. Southgate offers his men to put on a carnival for the nation tonight. I wonder, if they do lose, will he come out and say, well, you know what, we put on a great show. We played some exciting football. There was a carnival back home, and it doesn't matter that we got knocked out. The back page of the Star then, the UK Star. History, boys. Southgate tells Lions to seize the moment. That seems to be doing the rounds a good bit. The back page of the London Times then goes with this way to the last 8. And you've also got that Froome story there, which we'll come back to later on. And then another couple of broadsheets. The Telegraph goes with opportunity of a lifetime. Southgate tells team to deliver as nation dreams of World Cup glory. And then finally, The Guardian this morning is write your own stories. Southgate tells players to seize the moment. Carpe diem indeed, says Gareth Southgate.
Not completely over the top from anybody except the Sun. It's literally only the Sun who you kind of, when you think about it, it's like a chance to get into a World Cup quarterfinals on the side of a draw is pretty good against a Colombia side who are good, but like might not have their best player playing for them.
I'm not going to lie,
you should get excited.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed by the carousel of back pages we showed there. It's not outrageous. Tomorrow morning, though, if they win, we can expect a different story. The Sun are the only ones who've like, hold my beer, everyone, I'm going to do something mental.
Very quickly to the European back pages. Marca have a story here about Cristiano potentially going to Italy next year, and they say that they've got some details on a contract clause that he has that would allow Juve to sign him for 120 million, and Juve are the club that are being linked with Cristiano. He has the guarantee of Real over a great discount in his release clause, apparently, which obviously comes hot on the heels of Real Madrid last night, the attention-seeking clowns denying a report that they have agreed a deal to buy out Neymar's release clause of 237.5 million or whatever it is, or 627 million or 9 billion, whatever that figure is that was made up. So
it would complete their evolution into a team of supervillains if they manage to sign Neymar, and I hope they do it.
Yeah, I actually do as well. I kind of feel like after the way that they completely sabotaged Spain's World Cup, that now the whole world can unify finally behind a hatred of Real Madrid as opposed to actually, you know, it's kind of good that they have all these superstar players and you really like watching them all play together. It's like, no, that's bad. That is evil.
It wouldn't be begrudging respect, it'd just be pure hatred.
The Coro L'Equipe on Diable which roughly translates as furious or boisterous. Froome respire très fort. Froome breathes very strongly is the headline on that one as well. So we'll talk about Froome a little bit later on.